This segment is sponsored by Pan-American Life. At Pan-American Life, service isn't just what we do, it's who we are. We stand beside our agents with real support, real answers, and a leadership team that listens. When you partner with us, you're backed by a company built on trust and dedicated to helping you serve your clients with confidence. Pan-American Life, where exceptional service empowers exceptional agents. Visit palig.com today.
Ready for the next segment today on Off the Page, and we get to welcome Luke Cosme back from Pan-American Life. Welcome, Luke.
Hey, thanks for having me back again.
Luke's article was titled for the March-April, I encourage you to read it, the March-April edition of Aspire, Recruiting and Succession Planning in Focus. And just going to kick it off with a good question for you. You know, we've been hearing all about the graying of our industry, which I can relate to. But why is now a good time to focus on recruiting and succession planning?
It's a great question. And Chuck, I'm sure you've experienced the same, but over the years, I've heard people, as you attend different meetings and different conferences, say something along the lines of, you know, I've been coming to these for 10 or 15 years, and I've been the youngest person or among the youngest people at these for 10 or 15 years. And you kind of laugh about it and then you move on. Well, the reality is that risk is no longer theoretical. You know, there's some statistics from the American College and the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics that say that in the next 10 or 15 years, something like 653,000 financial professionals are going to retire or quit. And when you take into account the carriers and the home offices, there's more than 741,000 roles that are going to need to be filled. You know, there's a saying that a goal without a goal or a strategy without a plan is just a wish. Up to this point, it's kind of been just a wish. Yeah, we know that the industry is getting older. Yeah, we know that we need to do something about it. Now's the time to start doing something about it, because we've got not only an opportunity from a numbers perspective, but we have an opportunity from a messaging perspective that I think few or no other industries have.
Reading your articles got me excited because of the stats that really show that this is a very much an infinite level of opportunity, right? So there's people that are wondering what they want to do. So how, you know, what do you think why isn't insurance in particular considered like an appealing career path and compared to other opportunities in today's marketplace?
You talk to millennials, you talk to Gen Zs, and you see all the different studies, and one thing comes through. They want to be successful. They want to have a career where they can make money and they can support a family, just like we all do. But they also want to make a difference. You know, it's not just about the money. They want to leave a legacy. They want to make a lasting difference. And if you think about it, no industry is better positioned for that than us. If you're a producer in a community or in a small town, and you're a life insurance producer, you have over the course of your career the potential to have an impact both economically and from just a peace of mind perspective on your community that no one else can touch. By the time you retire, you're probably going to have somewhere between $750 million or $1 billion of death benefit in force. That's $1 billion that is going to pour back into that community, income tax free, so that people can use it to continue on with their lives, to maintain their standard of living, to help keep their business going. It's money that can be used at those local businesses. And that impact, I mean, $1 billion, that's more than if your community hosted the Super Bowl.
Yeah, and there's never been a beneficiary that said, I don't need that much death benefit, right? The appreciation for what that provides at a time of loss. And it really comes back to the narrative about our industry. We were talking earlier before we started recording today. You brought up Ned Ryerson from Groundhog Day, which I love that clip and the whole movie. When you think about it from a narrative perspective, what can companies do? What can all of our watchers and listeners do? Everybody involved. How can we change that narrative?
So if you talk to most people that aren't in the insurance industry and you ask them, what are jobs that are available? What are careers that are available? You're probably going to get one of two answers. I can be an agent or a salesperson, or I can be an underwriter, right? That's what most people think of when it comes to insurance. I mean, in reality, and you'll have to check my stats on this, Chuck, but I believe the insurance industry contributes something like 2.5 million jobs to the national economy. You know, and those, yes, some of those are sales jobs, some of those are underwriting jobs, but there's also human resource jobs, there's marketing jobs, there's careers in finance and corporate finance. An insurance company is just like every other company out there. It has the same needs for people and the same career paths that go along with those. We just don't talk about it. The other thing I think we need to do, and this is at an agency level, this is at an agent level, and this is at a carrier level, is we need to talk more about what we do. I mentioned before, at a very high level, it's helping families and businesses and communities, but it's more than that. We need to talk about the benefits that we pay as much as we talk about the sales, as much as we talk about hitting goals, as much as we talk about profitability. We need to make sure that people understand, hey, as a company, we paid out X number of billions of dollars in death benefits last year. We paid out X amount of hundreds of millions of dollars in health benefits last year. Because at the end of the day, that's what we do. Those are the promises that we make. And we should be celebrating those things as much as we're celebrating the sales and the profitability and the commissions and everything else.
You get to do really good work for your community, for yourself, and all the families that you serve. So hopefully this message is coming across. So I kind of think I know the answer, my own answer to this question, but I wanted to ask you, who is responsible to drive the communication, and how could different participants fulfill their roles to really promote our industry?
From a carrier perspective, we can provide tools, we can provide training, more consistent messaging about what we do and how we help, and really talking to the benefit that gets paid. From an agency principal standpoint, model succession planning. Talk about what are the opportunities within this agency, what are the opportunities for career growth, and then when you're talking about your successes, make sure that you're including, and by the way, we helped X number of families. We were responsible for X millions of dollars in death benefits or health benefits or annuity benefits that were paid in the last year, so that people see not only the economic impact for that small group of being part of that agency, but the economic impact that you're spreading out into your community. Our CEO, Jose Suquet, when he goes to Latin America especially, he talks about the insurance agent being la profesión más noble, the most noble of professions, because what you do has such an amplified effect within a community, within a city, within a country. And he talks about, the impact that they have is so outsized relative to other industries. It's our organizations that have to elevate that awareness earlier. You want to make a difference? Come work for an insurance company.
Your passion is really helping me feel even better about our profession, that this is really everyone's responsibility, right? And I don't think we do it enough. I think you agree with that. It's like, this is kind of the point today. Let's really promote this industry. The resources are endless. The opportunity is really seemingly infinite. So I wanted everyone to be excited about that point today. So once again, Luke, you're a natural. It's really great to have you part of this. Have a great rest of your day and quarter here, and hopefully a great year in 2026. So take care, Luke.
You as well.
You can find Luke's article on page 8 of the March-April edition of Aspire magazine. Link in the description.